Hey guys, Liquid Fire here. Thanks for joining me again tonight. So we are back into Way of the Hunter, and we are taking a look at the new update that just came out. So version 1.28.1, build 163944, came out technically yesterday, but effectively we'll just say came out today. And the big piece for that was adding the common Eland. So I know a lot of people were hoping for elephants and expecting elephants and all these other uh, crazy animals that would be so freaking cool to have. But yeah, we didn't get that. I realistically, I didn't think there was any chance of it being anything massive like that. Giraffe, elephant, rhino. It just didn't fit. Knowing everything we know about the game in the state of the game right now, that just didn't add up. But we knew it was coming. We knew what it was before today. So no big surprises. The common Eland is in game, and that's very cool. So along with the introduction of the new animal to Tikamoon Plains, they did make some tweaks and fixes and things like that. So we're going to run through those real quick. We'll try to take a look at some of them in game and kind of see what it really looks like, what the changes are, and hopefully won't take too terribly long. We'll obviously take a look at the Elon, and we'll take at least one out. I haven't spent a lot of time in game yet to go find them and play with them or anything like that. And what I did do was in a backup save that I'd already dumped. But there is a major caveat to bring up with the Elon right now. I don't have all the information in the encyclopedia, so I'm going to take some screenshots that were shared to me and use them. But we have some issues with scoring. All right, so if we take a look here at the age for the Elons, so we've got a 20-year-old critter. So young's going to be from 1 to 5, adult from 6 to 15, and mature from 16 to 20. Now, this has not been confirmed in game yet, so it's possible that that's not necessarily accurate, but that's what it's saying. The weight ranges 400 to 600 kilograms, 600 to 799 kilograms, and 800 to 1,000 kilograms for the male Elon. That's huge, and maybe it's too huge. So the common Eland is the second of the largest antelopes out there. The giant Eland is slightly bigger, and normally that's the one that runs up to about 1,000 kilograms or 2,200 pounds, literally over a ton. The common Eland in the real world normally, from what research I did, so grain of thought, this is Google and all that stuff, but normally they have a range that's a little bit lighter. So from what I saw, their weight runs up to about, well, I guess 2,100 pounds. So not too different. I was looking earlier and saw like 942 kilograms. You know what? So I guess it's not that far off, but it is a little on the heavy side. But that's kind of the norm. Way of the Hunter seems to take the extremes and roll with them. So being a little heavy is not too terribly surprising. 60 kilograms is a lot. I mean, that's bigger than a lot of animals in game weight total. So it's a little surprising that they pushed it to the giant Eland weight, but not a huge deal. Of course, 20 years old, that's like everything else in Tikamoon. It lives forever. But again, that's kind of a fair. The common lifespan in real life is like 15 to 20 years. To me, I'd still like to shorten the lifespans of a lot of stuff, but it's fair. So everything there looks pretty good. If we look at the weight distributions, it's all reasonable. It's in order. The years are in order. Everything looks okay here. If we move to the trophy ranges, this is where things start getting a little odd. Now, looking at the at the screen, at the ranges that they provide, everything fits. So the range is 292 to 369 for 1 star, 370 to 409 for 2, 410 to 440, 441 to 469, and the 5 stars start at 470 and run to 500. That all looks good here. That's fine. It's a higher end on the 5 star list. It's not extreme, but 470 is a little bit higher. A lot start at 460. Some are a little lower, 450. And there's a bunch of different numbers where they start at. So all of this looks okay, but what was discovered today in game is this is completely and totally wrong. So when you look at the 1 star rating, the lowest possible score you could get for a 0% male would be a 292. Okay, that's the absolute baseline number that you could potentially find in game, and we're seeing much, much, much lower than that. One of the guys in chat tested today and pulled a 101, I think it was. That's a big jump from 292. The one I tested was in the hundreds as well. I shot a couple females, which didn't have scores. But yeah, so the lower end of the range is definitely not correct. And the problem with that is that throws off your scoring. If you're expecting it to start at 292 and you get a 100, that throws off how the scoring is actually going to be replicated in game, and it's going to throw off the brackets. But wait, there's more. Also, the stars do not align with the ranges. So the ranges they have in game for like 5 star shows 470 to 500, and we've seen stuff in the 450s making 5. Again, that's perfectly reasonable. There's nothing wrong with that in and of itself. The problem is it's not what it says it should be, and that is a problem. So they need to absolutely come in here, take a look at the information that they're sharing in their source of truth to the players, the encyclopedia, and correct it, because it is way, way, way wrong, and that's not cool. That's the type of thing that shouldn't be continuing to happen, but has happened so many times. It's just something that needs to be fixed. It can't continue to happen. There is also another issue, and I'm probably not going to be able to replicate it in game tonight. But it seems like some of the herds do not have the herd management information shared on their icons. In this particular branch, I haven't picked up any zones. I haven't killed anything, so I have no information yet. I'll try to get some and hopefully use that for the images. If not, then there'll be some actual photos that were shared in Discord. But you can see it in game once you go find a couple of zones. Not a big deal. But I don't know which zones do not have the herd, or excuse me, the habitat information associated to the herds. I do, from what I understand, it's not all of them, but it may just be one habitat. I don't know. Just bits and pieces of information on it, and I haven't been in game enough to unlock them and find them and all that, so can't say a whole lot about that. But those are some big caveats to keep in mind with the Eland as you first start to interact with them and start to see them in game. Do be aware of that. It's not a huge deal, but it does matter a little bit. So be aware of that. So as an after the fact update, we were able to get the corrected ranges and star ratings for the Eland from Miriam. So everything we saw in game and currently see in game is still wrong. The correct ranges are here. So 91 to 244 is your 1 star, 245 to 322 is your 2 star, 323 to 384 is your 3 star, 385 to 439 is your 4 star, and 440 to 500 is the 5 star. So that's why we're seeing all the different lower score 5 stars happening. And we also were able to confirm that 4-star adults is a thing. I did run it against my numbers after getting the correct ranges, and I see 4-star adults after like 96%, something like that. I'll look at what the actual number is and put it in. But yeah, so we did get some updates, and we'll go ahead and put this in. It's kind of just dumped in the middle, but I did want to make sure we shared that. But I wanted to go ahead and go through all of the patch notes and the announcement itself. So we'll start with the announcement and then jump into the patch notes. Obviously, I wanted to hit the Eland first because that's the big thing. So the announcement starts out, it's Eland season. So update 128.1 is now live on PC, PS5, Xbox, and the common Eland has arrived in Tickamoon Plains, ready to put your tracking skills to the test. They won't go down easy, but the trophies are worth it. This update also brings smoother aiming with reduced iron sight blur, new zeroing for the Prairie Hunter the Jack, refreshed sound effects for the Steyr Gams and the Hunter's Advantage Pack rifles, and several tweaks and fixes for Way of the Hunter. Then they say to go check out the patch notes. But there is something else before we get into the patch notes that they mentioned that I do want to bring up, and that is some future work with Integrix. So they were the new scope that came out, or they created the new scope that came out, and basically Way of the Hunter and Integrix are going to work together to design a new custom scope reticle for the game. So here's what they say. We're also teaming up with Integrix Optics to design a new custom scope reticle with your help. The survey is short and simple, and your submissions will help us and Integrix Optics shape the final design of the new scope. We're excited to see how the community's vision comes together. Please take the survey below. So I'm going to pop open the survey just to kind of give you an idea of what it looks like here if you are interested. So basically, the first question is which type of center hold. So you've got the little crosshair, you've got the filled dot and open dot, the little caret. Do you want hold unders or no hold unders? So you can have the line that goes up at the top, or you can not have it. To me, it looks funny to not have it. I know some scopes are like that, but there's an option there. Should you have the same center hold for elevation holds? This one on the left, where it shows the center breakdown, I hate it. I just do not like that at all. I'd certainly prefer the straight line on the right. Wind hold or no wind holds? This is one that is, to me, it's kind of great and horrible at the same time. So if I'm trying to do ultra long range shooting in ranger mode or out beyond 100 sense dots, or just without 100 sense in general, give me those wind holds. It makes life so much easier to have a simple place that you can replicate the shot from. You can hold 4 down 3 over and hit that spot. When you're not doing that, it's going to be annoying, it's going to be in your way, and you're not going to like it. So I'm kind of torn with it. Depending on the use, depending on the zoom. If it's a high zoom type of scope, I think I'd like it. If it's low zoom, just give me a fine crosshair. I don't need this in anything except a precision first focal plane high zoom scope. So that's kind of me. Which part of the scope should be illuminated? So you've got some options there for that, and what color of illumination, and then you can go through and describe the perfect reticle. So exactly what you want, how you like it, whatever. So if you are interested in good scopes and you think that your input matters, then jump in here and fill this out. I think that it's freaking awesome that Integrix is engaged enough to want to do this. So that's really cool. Definitely jump in, do the survey, put in what you like so that we can get what everybody really would prefer. Of course, everybody's not going to have the same opinion, so what comes in may not be exactly what you wanted, but it should be what the majority wants, and that's pretty cool. So I definitely wanted to bring that up, showcase it, and talk about that. And now we're going to jump over to the actual patch notes and get into the nitty-gritty part of it all. So obviously the first thing is they added the common Eland to Tickamoon Plains. We've talked about it. We're going to go look at it. We know about it. They tweaked And we kind of mentioned it earlier. They reduced the iron sight blur on several arms when using the iron sight. So that's kind of what they were talking about. So the SSG M1, the Remington 700 long range, the 870 Wingmaster, the double jab, the Prairie Hunter the Jack, the Steyr Scout, the SM12, Simmons Sky the Jack, Bonzer Inclined Standard, Morning Silence, Remington 673 Guide, and the Remington V3 Waterfowl Pro. All of those were very blurry when you just had the gun up with no scope on it. I rarely noticed it because I always run a scope. But when we had the Mordecai double jab up in the very beginning, you could see that it was pretty blurry. I understand what they were trying to do. You know, you're not focused on the rifle when you're looking down the scope. I think that it may have been a little overdone. So they did make some changes to that. So we'll pull some of those up. I'm not going to pull all of them up, but we'll pull a few up. Maybe Prairie Hunter the Jack and the definitely the Mordecai, and just kind of see what it looks like. So they changed the zero on the Prairie Hunter the Jack to be 50 meters. So if you have no scope up, it's going to be changed to 50 meters now. I don't know what it was, but it's at 50 now. Not sure. Again, can't really tell much about that. They tweaked the sound effects for the Steyr GAMs. Now, I don't know what changes they made to any of these sounds. I haven't seen them in game, and I haven't shot the Steyr GAMs itself enough to really pick up on a lot of sounds on it. I thought it sounded pretty good in general, shooting it wise, but maybe cycling through the action just needed some updates. Not sure. So they also updated the sound effects for Prairie Hunter the Jack, and I certainly hope that is related to cycling it because it sounded horrible. All right, it wasn't horrible, but it didn't sound good. So we're going to take a look at that one for sure, see what it sounds like. It's updated the sound effects for the Hawk Long Range. That's a 224. Prairie Hunter the Jack, of course, is a 44. So again, sound effects for it, and we'll cycle through those. They updated the sound effects for the Mordecai double jab. It too had some weird sounds that just didn't sound good to me. So I'm excited that they have worked on that and focused on making them sound better. That's good. They also fixed the electronic caller delay when switching calls or equipment. That's huge. And I think I'm going to have to go back to the cabin to get the guns because I don't think this backup save has all of the new gear. But that's fine. We'll deal with that in a little bit. So the electronic caller, they fixed the delay when switching calls, and they also had the UI change to show the triangle moving across, updating correctly whenever you change species. So I haven't tested it yet, but the way it was working is if you called, say you called whitetail, and then you called mule deer, it would stop the little bar moving across on the whitetail because you went over to the mule deer. So if you go back, the bar would be reset. So anytime you change, the bar reset. So I'm hoping that they've changed that to where you can kind of watch the timing a little more. You call so fast, I don't think it's a huge deal, but it should at least be in the right spot. So they did work with that. They fixed the hunter sense dot not correctly aligned on top of the bead for the Prairie Hunter the Jack's iron sight. I don't know. I mean, I know what it means, but I didn't play around without the scope on it, so I'm not sure where it was or what that change truly looks like. They fixed some minor localization issues, so I don't know what was translated wrong. Probably German still. That seems to be the common issue. But they did make some sort of localization changes, so I'll never be able to find what that was. But hopefully, if you need it, it's done for you. And they fixed some quote-unquote minor environmental issues. Too many little things to say for sure what all was covered. I think Miriam mentioned grass in Nez Perce was one of the things. So who knows? But it's always good to see little fixes like that put in. There is a known issue. So all this other stuff was unknown. But they did notice that the pedicles on the common Eland do not adjust properly with the size of the antler. So it's not a huge deal, but they did recognize it. So hopefully they get that fixed fairly soon. So that's what we're looking at there. The pedicles is the known issue. All right, so what we're going to do is jump in game here real quick and see if we can't get some eyes on some Eland and get them down. So actually, I know we can get eyes on them because we're already on them. So where did they go? Oh, here we go. I am in hiker mode, so we can zoom in forever. So here is the Eland. So we've got 2 females and a male. It's kind of, that's as far over as I can go. So you can kind of get a look at them in game. They've got a little bit of striping on them. And again, by now, I'm sure most of you have already seen them, but if not, we'll just spend a little bit of time here kind of looking at them. Now, none of these are big, just to keep in mind. All right, so if we bring up the bottom, now we need to get into a spot where we can see them. There we go. So there you have a young female. Here you have a 1-star young male, and you have an adult female. So you can tell this young male is already bigger than the other 2. So they are going to scale up different sizes. So it does showcase the size of the male pretty well. What? Hang on. I don't know what I have on me. Well, I have no idea why I have the 30-06, and I have no ammo. All right. We're going to go back to the vehicle here real quick and change over. I'm actually going to go overkill and grab the 338. You don't need it for these guys, but I want to try to drop all 3 of them. So I'm going to be kind of loose with my shooting. I meant to change this before I walked over there, but I forgot. Alright, so let's go that. I don't think I have. Yeah, so I haven't picked up the e-collar, so we'll have to jump back to the cabin to pick up the e-collar and the other rifles so we can hear them. But that's not a big deal. And again, we're not going to spend a ton of time in game. We're just going to do enough to make sure I don't spook them. Oh, they're inspecting me again. I don't know if that's an alert or an inspect. That may be an alert. Yeah, they're alerted. So while we're waiting on those guys to calm down, they do respond to the deer grunt collar. So that's not the best case scenario, but they do respond to the deer grunt. I'm not sure why the deer grunt, but apparently that's what they like. It's the deer grunt. All right, so they've calmed back down again. I don't know if that's what they would respond to in real life or not, but what is that? Oh, it's just grass. I don't know what they respond to in real life. I don't know what they sound like. They look like a cow. They respond to a deer call. And their scoring's jacked up, so I don't even know. I just really don't want to spook these guys out before I get a shot on them. Oh. So that one attempted to make a call, but I haven't heard him actually call. I don't know what their call sounds like. So we've got the young female. There's our male. Much darker coat. Look at the neck on that thing. Is he in inspect mode? I think he is. Alright, so we're going to go ahead and shoot these guys. So I want to try to take him out and at least one of the females. We'll see what happens when we start shooting here. That was not good shooting at all. Now that one's going down. Where'd the other one go? You're going down right there. Oh no, it wasn't enough. Oh, I should have just let it drop. I thought it was going to be enough. Alright, anyway, we shot a bunch of stuff. So we've got one down here. We got one going over this way to go down. I'm not sure what I did wrong on this first shot, though. I thought that I was going to drive it right through the lung and drop him immediately. But I was unsuccessful. Kind of rattled me. Wasn't expecting that. But we definitely... Hey, I'm not in hiker? Alright, well. I thought I put it in hiker. I guess I didn't. Doesn't matter. Not the best display of shooting, but that's alright. Okay, so this one should be right down here. Yeah. So just so you can kind of get an idea of the look. So this is one of the females. We'll go into inspect mode. Actually, let me go back. We'll have it in the encyclopedia now that we shot one, so we can jump in the encyclopedia and look at it. So there you go. So they've got a little bit of striping, not a lot. Some nice little touches with the black on the back of the legs. They've got the cow tail going on. You can definitely see the the folds here in the front. Super thick neck on these guys. The horns apparently get much, much larger than this. I haven't seen any big ones yet, so I don't know. All right. So there's that one. Let's go find the male that was shot. So that wasn't fatal. So this is, well, yeah, this one's definitely dead. I don't know if I'm on the male or the female. I'm thinking this is probably another female, but we'll see. I've got one right there. Let me go ahead and put a mark on him. Oh, I was like, what do I hear walking? Yeah, we got these guys. Alright, where did... Okay, focus this way. So we should have got all three down. I've terribly disturbed the guinea fowl. Wow, all the way down there. And I think this is the female. Are you kidding me? That must have been like a flesh kill. Jeez. Didn't expect that. Yeah, so flesh. We got him good this time, but... Her. So just another female. Not much to really look at here. Let's go back and grab this male. And again, this is a young. It's not going to have a high score or anything like that. But currently we are seeing even 4-star adults in game. So keep that in mind if you see something big. It may be legit. It may just be that the scores are different than what we'd expect them to be. Alright, so here's the guy. Yeah, I was a little too far inside, that's why. A little too far inside. I mean, we still got the kill. He wouldn't have went anywhere. And our second shot as he was going away, drove through the lungs. Looks like we hit the heart. But we were just so steep, didn't have enough penetration, even with the 338, to do much of anything. But we're talking about a steep quartering shot. But what we want to look at is the fitness score. So this guy is 74.37% young, scoring 152. Okay, so 152. If we go to the encyclopedia, common Eland. Oh, I haven't unlocked it. I need to... Okay, so let's try this. We will taxi you. Okay. Then we'll get an encyclopedia. All right. So you can see the range here was 292 at the very bottom. And if we go to our taxidermy assistant now, $74%. 152. That's lower than what it can even possibly be, according to the encyclopedia. And they get a lot lower than that. So, yeah, this is definitely wrong. And like I said, we've seen 5 stars at the 450. I think 455, somebody said, was the lowest they had seen. So, yeah, definitely wrong in here. So keep that in mind. Now, from what I've seen, the percentages seemed reasonable. So I think 87% was one of the lower 5 stars that I had seen. That's not to say people haven't had lower; they could be much lower, but that was the lowest 5 star that I'd had reported to me. So yeah, keep that in mind. It's entirely possible that that the scoring is even worse than what I think it is. Well, I wonder if we can find a zone over here. Oh, birds, go away. Let me try to go back to where we started all this at. I'd like to get the Eland on the map here just so we can see if this happened to be one that did not have the herd icon information, the herd management information on the icon. So there's a little pond over here, I think. Hopefully there are drink zones over here. Alright, so it's a rare drink zone, but... Oh, there's a... Well, it doesn't matter, this is a backup. Oops, so that should give us... Yeah, here we go. So, exactly what they were saying. No information at all. Not that it's wrong. It's just not there. See, all these have it. They've got the little icons here. This guy missing completely. So yeah, something needs to be addressed with that. Again, I think from what I've heard, it's not all of the habitats that have the issue, but this one does in particularly have it. All right, so enough of that. Let's jump back to the main lodge. We have to run in to the room here. Oh, wait a minute. Yeah. No. Oh, we came in with the other direction. I'm used to coming in from in front. So let's go ahead and get some gear so that we can check this stuff out. Alright, so there's our e-collar. Alright, so there's all of that stuff. We're not worried about scopes or anything. In fact, it'd probably be handy to not have the scopes. We'll run out here, bring up the Jeep, which is something that I've noticed. So in the past, every time I came into this map, like if I changed from a from ranger to hunter or hunter to hiker or whatever, it was always setting here. This time when I came in, it wasn't here. So that was different and interesting. All right, so let's start with, let's go with Prairie Hunter the Jack and 224. Let's put the e-collar in here. That still looks pretty blurry to me, and I don't know. I do see the hunter sense dot is lined up with the site. I don't know. Let's shoot and see how it sounds. So I think that sounds a little better. Yeah, that definitely sounds better. Can't see anything. God, that thing is so ugly. I mean, there's no sights on it, so you can't really say anything about that, but now if you turn hunter sense on, you've got at least your dot. Kind of like the sound of it. I think it does sound better. I think this had a real long echo or something. I'd have to go listen to it again in the old video. Alright, let's grab the double jab and see how it sounds. The cycling definitely sounded better on the under the jack. And what else was it we needed to check? Alright, so they updated the sound. Oh, the Steyr Gams is the other one. So we can go ahead and grab the Gams and stick it in here. Just so we can see what we got. Now that's got a real long echo. So that's the type of echo that the 224 had, if I remember right. But listen to the cycling. I'll reload. So I think that sounds alright. It doesn't sound as tinny as it used to, I don't think. Still, something sounds just a little weird with the closing of the breech. I don't know. It sounds better. It still looks awesome. Alright, so enough of that. Let's try using this guy, although I can't see anything. Let me turn gameplay, color name on, color timing on. Alright, so we've got it. It doesn't matter what we got it on. Huh. hear him move as you bring it up and down, but it's not moving. So this is him standing with it down. This is with it up. I didn't see anything that actually moved. I don't know. There's a noise. I wish he kind of like had it angled down and raised it up, but so you can definitely go away from it much quicker than you used to. Okay, so going from low fit to high fit, both timers are going. So that's good. Let me call and go to like the binoculars here. So we'll call and go to them as quick as I can. Yeah, see, that's a lot quicker. That's much better. That's not bad. So let's go to a different animal. So we've got, whoops. We've got, let's recall low fit, high fit. And let's go to the blue wildebeest. Okay. Now let's go back to the black. Well, that's not any different. That's exactly the same. I don't know, unless maybe low fit to high fit was different. I don't know what that fix was. So, yeah. I don't know. There must have been something else in the UI that wasn't updating, because it certainly isn't the little bar running across like I thought the fix was. But that doesn't really matter. If you've called, you know you've called. If you're going back and forth, you'll just have to be aware of your timing. Hopefully you can watch your animals when they stop, call out. You can recall. So not a big deal there. So let's see. Iron sights. They tweaked them on some other models. I'm not going to go through everything. You can certainly go check them out. I'm not sure. The blur still seems blurry to me, but I think it's okay. They probably reduced it or something. They changed the zeroing for the Prairie Hunter, the jack. We saw it. It looked fine. They did move the hunter sense dot to where it's on the actual site, which is fine. So all that looks good. Sound effects for the Steyr Gams, again, I don't know what it sounded like, really. I know I liked the sound of the Gams shooting originally, so I don't know. I'm hoping that it was some sort of change to the cycling. That sounds better than it used to for people who use it a lot. I never use the Gams. They definitely made the sounds better for the Prairie Hunter and the Mordecai Double Jab. Maybe for the 224, I think the shooting sounded different, but honestly, I don't use it. I'd have to go watch a video to find out. The electronic color delay definitely is much better. To me, that's a huge thing. It was really annoying. You would call and then try to go bring up your binoculars to look at something, and you had to just keep clicking and clicking and clicking, or just wait. So that was annoying. And they fixed the hunter sense dot. Some localization stuff that I can't check, so nothing there. And then some minor environmental issues. We're not going to pick up on what that was, or I'm not anyway. And then, of course, the pedicle issue, but we can't really say much about that. So that's it. That's everything they put in. Is it a lot? No, it's not. It's not a lot. But all this was dropping in a new animal. So when you look at it in the context of this is just a new animal being added, yeah, that's a good bit of stuff. So that's pretty cool. Good changes with the collar, especially the sounds with the guns. I think that's all needed stuff. It's not a major issue, but it certainly is something that does make things a little better. So hard to see anything with all this heat haze. Again, do keep in mind there are some issues with the scoring on the Elons. Um, I think that we're looking at just some changes that need to be made to the encyclopedia. There may be some changes that need to be made to the actual scoring. It's really tough to say until I really dig in, and I just haven't had time to do that yet. And we're going to try to get this wrapped up and on the on YouTube as soon as possible. So I probably won't have time to dig in for a day or two to really look at it. Hopefully, we see Lenani do an aging test on him real soon. When she does that, then I can put my scoring into it and see what I see. But we already know base score is 100% wrong. I don't need Lenny to go through and play with that to figure that out. It's already confirmed. It's way wrong. So there's issues. They'll get it squared away. We'll figure it out and yeah, talk about it in Discord, I'm sure, over the next few days anyway. So that's it. I don't think there's anything else to really get into. I would like to maybe go hunt some more Eland just to kind of showcase them, but let's be honest, by now I'm sure anybody who's interested has already seen some images of them, so probably not the biggest deal to not shoot a bunch of them. We did get the stuff in the encyclopedia, so that's enough to where you can see what's going on. And you got to look at a couple in game if you haven't. So that's that. All right, guys, we're wrapped up. We're done. We will be back to the Ranger Chronicles before too long. We've got some more work to do there to finish that up. So I'll be looking forward to being done. Oh, my gosh. All right, guys, you have a good night. God bless and happy hunting.